Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for joining. My name is Greg Sarandos. I'm the co-founder of the African Academy of Artificial Intelligence, also known as AAAI. What we're really trying to do as an organization is to make AI approachable, accessible, actionable, and impactful, which also is AAAI, which I think is pretty cool. So what I'm trying to do today is, my job is to demystify AI, alleviate some fears, concerns, show you what's possible, and provide some frameworks or ideas on where to get started in terms of integrating AI into your day-to-day business. Let me move you guys over here. Sorry. So one of the big concerns that we have is with the environment is we're in an environment of fear, we're in an environment of hype, and in an environment of confusion. I'll address fear later. In terms of hype, even amongst worldwide executives surveyed by the IDC, 7% of executives believe we're in a hype cycle with generative AI. It's been around for 10, 11 months now. If you've been involved in technology, you understand hype cycles. Everybody gets really excited about Web3 or the metaverse or crypto, and then disappoints, and investors lose lots of money. In this environment, there's a lot of confusion because things are changing so fast, and it's also very early days. That leads to a decision-making model of either FOMO, fear of missing out, inertia, not doing anything, deer in the headlights, ostrich with its head in the ground, or people that make impulsive decisions. And this is no way to approach. So what I try to do, and when we talk about strategies and opportunities, is don't make decisions based on these things, but rather on sound strategic principles and ways to improve the productivity and effectiveness of your business. So where is AI taking us? As I always say, especially in my live presentations, predictions are difficult, and the audience says especially about the future. So we can only speculate about what's coming. But going back to the previous slide, I don't think we're in a hype cycle. I think generative AI is the internet. It's this day's internet, this generation's internet. It will change everything that we do in our day-to-day lives. So guys, please open your chats, and I'm giving a little poll. We're not using an app for this. I'd rather just use the chats. What is your biggest concern in this new era of AI? 1 is massive job losses. 2 is the machines take over, dystopia, the Terminator, the Matrix. 3, privacy issues and intellectual property protection for creators. 4, expanding the digital divide. And 5th, ethical concerns about the bias of these models that are primarily built in San Francisco, California. While you're doing that, I'm going to work out how I can open and look at the chats. There we go. Okay. Privacy concerns in IP. Ethical concerns, C and E. Privacy and ethical. Massive job losses. I'm on your side there, Paul. Come on, guys, quickly. Massive job losses again. Again, privacy and ethical. Privacy, C and E. Okay, very good. You can keep going because I'm gonna be able to get these notes and actually put together, do a little data analysis on it, which Quentin will talk about later. Just to back up a bit, after I speak, Manisha Prem will speak about governance, risk, and compliance, and then Quentin is the AI master. He'll be talking about AI tools and how to use these models and how to use video tools and design tools and writing tools and some research stuff as well, which is really cool. So for me, it's F. Yeah, I tricked you. So the F is losing my job or my company. This is where the fear comes in. This is why people are really, very concerned. How's AI? Is my job secure? If my job isn't secure, I'm going to be in a very bad state. So for me, mass job losses, if we focus our own attention on massive job losses and doing the skills development within our own organizations, then I'll save my job and I'll save my company. Machines take over, that's this cold, hard fear. Privacy issues and intellectual property protection is a huge issue, especially and obviously amongst the content creators. One of the things that Monisha is going to talk about in her governance, risk, and compliance section is about how this AI legislation is actually going to break these models because they can't use OpenAI and ChatGPT because they don't have the transparency that goes back to the source documentation. They've been scraping IP and protected IP. expanding the digital divide is also very near and dear to my heart as an economist. And the way I put it is what does success look like? Now, and I'll talk about this in a moment about new technologies ultimately create better paying jobs over time. And normally you have 10 or 20 or 30 years to kind of build the skill base that you need to fulfill those jobs. But within the digital divide, let's say the base of the pyramid, the economic principle about the $2 a day kind of folks. Now, those guys are suddenly making $4 a day. Is that successful? The policymakers and politicians would say yes. The economists would say yes. I would say, I don't think so. We need to determine, when it comes down to the base of the pyramid, what success looks like in terms of digital divide, and also, learning for the rural school children in Kenya. How do we keep them from being left behind? That's a real important thing. And then there's ethical concerns and bias, which will be sorted out over time. And Monish will cover that. So one of the principles that we talk about all the time is that AI won't replace people. People that know how to use AI will replace people that don't. And people that companies, AI will not replace companies, but AI-enabled companies will replace those companies that don't. This has been true over time. We have some nice video work on this that we won't have time to cover today. But ultimately, every innovation since the beginning of time, the wheel, the printing press, electricity, the light bulb, the automobile, computers, cell phones, and the rest have all created more jobs than they destroyed, and they've been better paying jobs. But within the African context, that has a very different ramifications or consequences than it does in the rest of the world, because there's not enough people to fulfill jobs in most developed countries. The US has 11 million job openings at the moment. The European populations are collapsing, as are Singapore, China, Taiwan, that whole range. So in their context, it's like, cool, we have more higher paying jobs, therefore we have more tax dollars to pay for pensioners and retirements, right? But in Africa, it's a very different context. For me here, it's more about the digital divide and upskilling people as quickly as possible. Small and medium businesses, I believe this is their time. Over the last 15 years, arguably the last 50 years, this cabal in South Africa, in the United States, and all over Europe, between big government and big industry, has really squashed the little guys. But there's certain things that small businesses can do because of their inherent agility, to be able to overtake their corporate competitors. So I'll give you an example. I'm a marketer and I'm a writer. So you have a $10 million business, a $5 million business, you have one marketing manager. That marketing manager is either, in my experience, a writer like me, a designer, or an internet marketer like Quentin, right? Within 6 to 12 months, that one marketer will be able to be the writer, the designer, and by the way, and then they send everything else out, either all the other work out to experts, so freelancers or agencies. But in 6 to 12 months, they will be able to keep everything in-house, one marketing manager, but we'll be able to handle all the content creation, all the writing, all the design, all the internet marketing, plus things that small businesses don't normally do with their marketing, which is research, data analysis, and insights. And Quentin will talk quite a bit about data analytics that can be done, data analysis that can be done within ChatGPT. Another way that SMEs can have an advantage, I can write my own contracts. Big corporations will never be able to write their own contracts without passing it through their legal department and their law firms. There's so many things that the small businesses can do to bring AI technologies in, and Quentin will cover that in quite a bit of detail. Within the marketing context, Quentin and I were actually at the McKinsey Digital Africa Summit about a month ago, and they had like 4 major workloads that they're focusing on with their client base, other than trying to build their own large language model. And the 4th one is content creation. So it's a huge deal everywhere in the world where I can, and this is the way it works in the B2B context. You create a large piece of content. It can be a research report, an industry report, 3,000 to 5,000 word paper. You do your research and you write something really, really important. And I've done one of these on AI. That's not the easy part, but that's the cheap part. You pay $3,000 to $4,000 for the paper, pay the writer, put it into design, and send it out. It's the repurposing of that paper that becomes very time consuming and expensive. And that's where the generative AI, ChatGPT, and other models can actually help significantly. So what I would do then is I'd say, cool, I've got this really nice research report. Now I need to do a couple of ebooks. Each ebook's going to cost me $5,000 with the design and crafting the stuff. But because it's original material, you're not cheating. You're actually using your own material. You're just repurposing your own material. So when I write the original paper, it's all original. I won't even use ChatGPT for editing. I'll do manual editing, just make sure that it's 100% totally original. Then we can create ebooks. We can create 10 blogs. We can release 10 chapters, and we can do 100 social media posts over 6 months. That one piece of content can create all this, all these other marketing tools. Another example is here we're going to do an hour and a half, about an hour masterclass. We're going to record it in 3 segments. So Jeff, I'll ask you to stop recording and start recording when I'm done. So we break up the recordings into different ones, if you don't mind. And then we can put that recording into an app, each one of the 30-minute recordings into an app. And that can automatically create within 5 minutes, 10 TikTok videos with transcriptions of 20 to 40 seconds. So these are the ways that generative AI can actually really bring huge productivity into the marketing organization in this example. We compete. Companies don't compete out on the internet. If you become proficient in ChatGPT, you're competing with the other millions of people that will be proficient in ChatGPT in the next few months. Companies compete using their own internal information, internal data, knowledge bases, and that kind of stuff. So when you think about how to, building your intelligent personal assistant, your chatbot that can be used for various different things, think about workloads where you can ingest internal data and create your chat. So there's many different applications for this. One is if I'm a company and I hire a bunch of people, and then I put them into an HR induction, or you can call it an indoctrination, right? And you go through all the HR policies, and then you leave and you have coffee, and you forget everything you just learned. And then 6 months later, you have a question about bereavement policy, leave policy, how much leave do I have, what benefits, questions, whatever it might be. Then you can go into it by ingesting all those HR policy documents into an AI, and then link that AI to your own personal file. You can actually just go into a chat and ask the questions, rather than picking up the phone and asking an HR manager. Another example of this is within the HR context is when we've been using AI for a long time, for many, many years, for resume screening, CV screening, and keyword search, and going out and doing certain things. That's gotten a little bit better with generative AI, but not a lot better. People still make poor hiring decisions. They just make them faster, right? But with AI, I can know that based on 5 data points, absenteeism, 360-degree review, performance review, and 2 other things, I can say, hey, I know Jeff is going to resign in November. Okay. Now, I think Jeff is awesome, so we're going to want to keep Jeff. If it's me leaving, it's like, wait a minute, we'll just let him go. We'll hire his replacement so we don't have an interruption. But we love Jeff, so we're going to intervene before he puts in that resignation letter. Ask him, what does he want? Maybe you need a change or something like that. Because we know that as soon as in the decades of research will show, as soon as he hands in that resignation letter and you keep him, you manage to win him back, he's only going to stay for 9 or 10 months anyway. So these are different ways to use internal data to create real value in the business. Just bear with me for a second. I need to find my. This is 2 examples of a chatbot that uses internal data only. The first one is called Chocolate Cake, and Chocolate Cake is a silly little thing where it knows everything about chocolate cake and knows nothing about anything else. So Chocolate Cake, I say I like, and it knows nothing else. And it's also a very clever way that the developers developed this, is that they only use OpenAI for the language model, not for the information gathering. So everything that comes out is actually in the model. I like chocolate chip cookies. Well, chocolate chip cookies are delicious, but let's not forget about the star of the show, chocolate cakes. It always brings you back to chocolate cakes, because that's what we've been trained on, right? They're moist and decadent, so self-indulgent. Trust me, it's satisfying. What about ice cream? Milkshakes. That's my weakness. Milkshakes. So the light bulb treat that pairs perfectly with chocolate cakes. You can whip up a delicious chocolate milkshake. So it shows an example of just how we can use these tools. So these are examples of using personal data, and there's use cases in every part of your business. So we have sales, we have marketing. I gave you a couple of use cases. Customer service, I just gave you a use case with Sunny. Human resources, I gave you 2 use cases. Supply chain, finance, e-commerce, and retail, which we're quickly becoming experts on based on a conference we attended a couple weeks ago, and of course, day-to-day operations. And Quentin will touch on some of these during his talk. And if you're ever going to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot of this. These are examples of what you can do in each part of your business. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is my last slide, and I'll hand over to Monisha. Where do we get started? How do we strategically use AI, integrate AI into our company to improve our operations or build products? The first step, and this is the first step of the first step, this webcast, determine what is possible. Second, decide what you want to do, why you want to do it, and what you hope to achieve. And then you prioritize those wish lists. So we're working with a couple of small e-commerce players, and they're making, not even small, I would say medium size, and they're like listing out like their top 8, workloads that they want to address. And then we measure the results and recalibrate. This can be done 3 different ways. Want to be really strategic about it. If you're in a big organization like a DHL, you say, let's build an 18-month roadmap. Let's look at our strategy. Let's look at our objectives. Let's look at our priorities. Let's look at after our pain points and map out an 18-month journey to roll AI into your organization, because it's not an event. It is a journey that you have to take. Second option is we're a marketing organization. We're Cadbury, we're Coca-Cola. Let's just spend 3 months doing everything we can within the marketing organization. And the third option is, and this is where Quincy comes in, start with something. Start with OpenAI and ChatGPT, get play around with it, get competent on it, and everything's going to change so fast. That's the best way. That's really the best and easiest way to upskill yourself.